Have you woken up in recent weeks with the inexplicable feeling that you need to leave? It's not fatigue, it's not boredom, it's not a whim to change your life. It is something much deeper, a silent voice that seems etched into your soul since before you were born, whispering that the place where you are now is no longer your place. You look out your bedroom window and feel that the scenery, those streets, those neighbors have lost their meaning to you. And it's not just an emotional urge, it's as if the very ground were pushing you. As if the walls of your house were saying, "Go, this is no longer the place." And what if I told you this is no coincidence? What if I told you there are thousands of people scattered across the heartland, feeling exactly the same call, hearing the same whisper, noticing the same signs? There is a movement happening in the spiritual realm that few can see, a movement of divine relocation being executed at this very moment. And what I am about to reveal to you may be the confirmation you have been waiting for a long time. Because the Almighty sent word, and the message is clear, direct and straightforward. Pack your bags. The relocation of cities happens in May. Before you think this is an exaggeration, pay close attention to the signs you yourself have already experienced. That recurring dream, where you are walking through a city you have never visited, but which feels familiar. That random conversation with a stranger who mentioned a specific place that kept hammering in your head for days. That song that played 3 times in a row and spoke about a fresh start. That number you can't stop seeing whenever you look at the clock. That feeling of tightness in your chest when you pass through certain streets in your city, as if there were an energy there trying to suffocate you. All of these are spiritual markers, signs that heaven is using to pull you out of here before something happens. Because the truth is that there are entire regions of this country being marked to undergo a deep spiritual cleansing, and the chosen ones need to be out of these zones before the time is fulfilled. It is not the end of the world. It is the end of a cycle. It is the end of your stay in a territory that no longer vibrates at your frequency. And May was chosen for a specific reason that I will explain to you now. May is the 5th month, and the number 5 in the spiritual realm represents grace, movement, and the transition between the old and the new. The ancient prophets already knew this. The sacred texts are full of references to exoduses that happened in the 5th cycle. And in this May that we are living in now, there is an alignment of energies that opens a rare window, one that hasn't repeated itself in decades. The portals of relocation are opening, the spiritual coordinates are being redrawn, and those who hear the call and obey will be protected. Those who ignore it will remain trapped in a territory that will begin to manifest in an increasingly hostile, increasingly oppressive way. Have you noticed how your city has become heavier? How the people around you are more aggressive, sicker, more lost? That is not your imagination. That is the spiritual soil of the region rejecting the chosen ones, because the chosen ones no longer belong there. That is why I prepared the powerful ebook for you, the faithful guide to protecting your kin. This ebook is not just reading, it is a map. And in this moment of transition, in which entire families are being called to move geographically, this map becomes the most important tool you can have in your hands. Because what you are feeling, this tightness, this urgency, this silent certainty that you need to leave, is just the most superficial layer of a much larger spiritual game, in which you are the centerpiece. There are rules you were never told about how to read the signs of divine relocation. There are entities that are trying to confuse you, to paralyze you, to make you doubt the call, precisely because they know that if you move at the right moment, you become untouchable. The ebook reveals exactly who is playing against your move, why some cities trap you even when you know you need to leave, and how to accurately identify the right city to which the Almighty is taking you. The link is pinned to the top of the comments. But I must warn you, this type of content is rarely available for long because what is on these pages challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact, and there have already been attempts to silence this knowledge before. Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, chosen one, because you did not come to this text by accident. Download it now and comment, "I am chosen," and I will download the ebook. This comment is your act of faith, your yes to the call. Now that you have decided to act, The next truth I will tell you will be the final blow against the oppression that is trying to keep you stuck in this city that no longer belongs to you. There is one thing no one explained to you about cities. Each city has a spiritual signature, a frequency, its own vibration built over decades and centuries by the choices of its inhabitants, by the pacts made by its founders, by the battles fought on its soil. Some cities were founded on foundations of light, with prayers, with blessings, with divine purpose. Others were founded on dark foundations, in pacts of power, in alliances that even today produce bitter fruit for those who live there. And there is a third type of city, the most dangerous one. The one that was neutral for a long time but in recent decades has surrendered to forces that have hijacked its original frequency. Do you know when a city is being spiritually hijacked? When the chosen ones start to feel they need to leave. That is the definitive sign. It's not the traffic, it's not the violence, it's not the cost of living. These are just the material symptoms of something much larger happening on the subtle plane. When a city is hijacked, it begins to expel the light bearers because the light of these bearers bothers the new invisible owners of that territory. And that is why you started to feel this growing discomfort. It is not about you. It is about what you carry. And in May, this process will intensify in a way that will scare many people. Hijacked cities will begin to manifest strange things, atypical events, social crises escalating out of nowhere, violent disputes between neighbors, entire families falling apart overnight. All of these are manifestations of the territory, expelling the light filters that still remain there. And whoever does not leave before this phase reaches its peak will be dragged into the whirlpool. I am not trying to scare you, I am trying to wake you up. You are here reading these words precisely because heaven set you apart to receive this instruction in time to prepare. Those who obey prosper. Those who rationalize miss the train of history. But how do you know where to go? That is the question hammering in your head at this very moment, and the answer is simpler and deeper than you imagine. Each chosen one has a city of purpose, a territory designated for them since before birth, a place where their frequency fits perfectly, where their mission can flourish, where the portals of blessing are open specifically for you. And the way to discover this city is not by looking at job offers or researching rent prices. The way to discover it is by paying attention to the whispers, to the name that appears 3 times in a row in different conversations, to the city you dreamed of, to that place that always caught your attention, even for no apparent reason. These are not personal tastes. They are impressions etched into your soul by the Creator himself, indicators of your divine geography. I know people who received confirmation of the city through a license plate number, others through an advertisement on a wall, others through a sentence a stranger said on the bus. Heaven speaks, and in May, heaven will speak louder than ever to the chosen ones who are ready to listen. The signs will multiply, the confirmations will overlap, and whoever has their soul tuned in will receive not only the name of the city, but also the neighborhood, the street, and sometimes even the house. It may seem magical, but that is how it works. The chosen ones never walk in the dark. They may be in emotional darkness, financial darkness, relational darkness, but their path is always illuminated from within. If you haven't seen this trail yet, it is because your spiritual eyes still need fine-tuning. That is why I prepared the powerful ebook for you, The Faithful Guide to Protecting Your Kin. When it comes to moving cities at the right time and protecting your family during the transition, this ebook is literally the map that was missing from your hands. It teaches how to open your spiritual eyes to see the signs of relocation, how to differentiate a divine call from an emotional escape, how to identify the city of purpose that was reserved for you since before your birth, how to shield your family against the energies that will try to sabotage the move, how to execute the transition in spiritual order without leaving gaps for the enemy to pull you back. The problem with moving cities is not just moving physically, it is moving with spiritual coverage. It is cutting the invisible ties that bind you to the old land. It is sealing the doors so that nothing from the territory you are leaving follows you. And none of this have they taught you. The link to the ebook is pinned to the top of the comments in the first pinned post. And this content, as I have already said, is under attack. They have already tried to silence this message before because it shows exactly who is playing against your family's move. What are the invisible contracts that hold you in sick territories, and how to break them? Do not wait for the right moment. The right moment is now, because you did not come to this text by accident. Download it now and comment, "I am chosen and I will download the ebook." This comment seals a pact between you and heaven. Now that you have made this commitment, the next revelation will make you understand why so many changes around you have failed, and why yours this time will be different. There is a trap that catches almost all the chosen ones when they start to feel the call of relocation. I will tell you what it is, because if you don't know, you will fall for it. The trap is called false timing. It works like this. You feel the call to move. You feel it strongly. You feel certain. Then you start to move. You start looking for a place. You start making plans. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a fantastic opportunity arises in your current city. A promotion at work, a new relationship, a business proposal, a business, an unexpected financial healing. And you think, look at that, it must be a sign that I should stay. Stop, breathe, and pay close attention. This type of opportunity that appears exactly when you decide to move is one of the oldest strategies used to trap chosen ones in their territories of origin. It is as if the city, upon realizing it is about to lose you, tries to bribe you with a shiny crumb so that you give up the inheritance that is waiting for you in the right city. How many people do you know who were determined to move and gave up because of a promotion? And how many of those people today are bitter, frustrated, trapped in a life they know is not theirs? The crumb shines brighter than gold from a distance, but when you bite into it, you realize it was plastic. True chosen ones learn to recognize this trap. They learn that when the call is real, it is not negotiable. They learn that heaven does not change its mind. The opportunities that appear to hold you in the old territory are not disguised blessings, they are tests. And whoever passes this test, whoever keeps their focus on the city of purpose, discovers that everything that appeared as a bribe in the old city is just a pale reflection of what was reserved in the new city. Because the right city, the city of purpose, comes full of favor. It comes full of doors opening out of nowhere. It comes full of strategic people crossing your path. When you arrive in your right city, you feel it in the first week. The air is different. Your prayer starts to be answered with a speed that scares you. The dreams return. The creativity returns. The faith returns. Everything that seemed dead in the old city resurrects in the new city. But there is more. There is an aspect of relocation that almost no one mentions. When the chosen ones relocate to their cities of purpose, they form constellations. Yes, human constellations. Points of light distributed strategically in specific territories to sustain a network of spiritual protection over entire regions. You are not just going to benefit yourself. You are going because there are other chosen ones waiting for you in that city, and together you compose a star. Your presence activates what was sleeping. Your prayers reach a range that alone you would never reach. Your existence there changes the spiritual temperature of the entire neighborhood. That is why the adversary works so hard to prevent divine relocations, because he knows that each chosen one out of place is an extinguished star, and each extinguished star is a vulnerable region. And here we arrive at an important question. What about the family? What about the children? What about the job? What about the house that is still being paid for? All these are legitimate questions, and heaven has an answer for all of them. Because the divine call never comes unaccompanied by provision, this is an ancient principle. When heaven calls, heaven equips. But the provision often only manifests after the step of faith. The chosen ones of the past had to move without seeing the complete path. And in all the stories we know, without exception, the provision came. Houses appeared, jobs appeared, schools fit in, friendly neighbors were placed alongside. Everything came together. But the key is the step of faith. Without the step, the provision remains suspended. Many people keep waiting to see the entire path before taking the first step, and that is why many people die in the old city without ever having seen the promised city. Regarding the family, there is a very important detail. When the spiritual head of the family moves in obedience, the entire family is covered by this obedience. Even the members who still have doubts, even the children who cry because of the school they are leaving, even the spouse who is afraid. The obedience of the one who leads drags the entire house into the blessing. And in a few weeks, everyone will understand. Everyone will feel the relief. Everyone will say, now it makes sense why we came here. Because the confirmation does not come before. The confirmation comes after. And I need to tell you now about something that perhaps you have already noticed in the last few weeks. The spiritual alarm clocks have been ringing louder. You wake up at 3 in the morning for no reason. You wake up at 4. You wake up at 5. You look at the ceiling. You feel the heavy silence, but it is not an empty silence. It is a full silence. It is as if the invisible were pulsing around you. These awakenings are active calls. Heaven is pulling you out of sleep, because there are instructions being passed that are only capturable in these sacred hours. If you pay attention to the thoughts that come in these early hours, you will find pieces of the map. Cities, directions, names, alerts. Pay attention. Write them down. Do not dismiss these signs as insomnia. Common insomnia is agitated. It is full of repetitive thoughts about material problems. Spiritual awakening is different. It is lucid. It is calm. It comes with a feeling of presence. That is why I prepared the powerful ebook for you, The Faithful Guide to Protecting Your Kin. This ebook teaches exactly how to decipher these early morning communications, how to write down the signs correctly, how to interpret the relocation dreams, how to lead your family through this process without anyone getting lost along the way. It goes deep into the spiritual logistics of a move. It shows how to shield the children against the energetic impacts of the transition, how to cut the ties with people who are open doors for the old territory to keep pulling you, how to spiritually prepare the new house before even stepping into it, how to purify the objects you will take so that nothing from the old contaminates the new. These teachings are not available in common books. The ebook is the practical shortcut that saves you years of trial and error. The link is pinned to the top of the comments in the first pinned post. And as I already told you, this type of content challenges narratives that many have an interest in keeping intact. There are those who prefer that the chosen ones remain trapped in territories that suffocate them. There are those who work actively so that these instructions do not reach you. Therefore, do not procrastinate. The right moment is now, because you did not come to this text by accident. Download it now and comment, "I am chosen, and I will download the ebook." This comment is your public pact with heaven that you will obey. Now that you have closed this pact, the next part will give you the final clarity that was missing about what will happen in May. I will tell you now about the spiritual maps of the Heartland that are being redrawn. The Heartland is a territory with unique spiritual characteristics. It was consecrated in its origin, but it has had dark moments in its history, and today it lives an intense dispute between forces that want to keep it in the light and forces that try to pull it into chaos. And in this dispute, certain geographic points are strategic, points where the light needs to be concentrated to sustain the integrity of the national territory. These are the constellation cities, the places where the chosen ones are being sent. I cannot give you a complete list, because this list is personal. Your city will be confirmed to you in the whispers, but I can tell you that small and medium-sized cities are receiving a special call this May. Interior cities, less populous coastal cities, cities in mountain regions. Not that the capitals are excluded, but there is a specific wave of relocation out of the large centers at this moment. The large cities are entering a phase of intensification of their spiritual challenges, and heaven is withdrawing its most sensitive filters to areas where they can breathe, reorganize, and prepare for the next phase of the divine purpose. And I want to tell you about something specific that almost no one addresses: anchoring. When you arrive in a city of purpose, you need to anchor. Anchoring is the spiritual process of you planting your roots in that land, declaring your presence, marking the territory as yours, and starting to vibrate the frequency of that place. Anchoring is not just signing a rental contract, it is a process with precise steps. Walking through the neighborhood in the first few weeks, praying in certain spots, finding the water of that region and connecting with it, getting to know the local merchants, allowing that land to know you too. This process of anchoring is what makes the difference between those who move and prosper and those who move but continue vibrating the frequency of the old city, remaining trapped in a spiritual limbo. The chosen ones know how to anchor, And this anchoring needs to be done right in the first 21 weeks of arrival. This is a spiritually significant number. It is the time the soil needs to recognize you. Therefore, if you move in May and anchor correctly, by October you will already be completely integrated with open doors with your new life flowing. Another thing that needs to be said, the farewell. When you move in obedience to a divine call, the way you say goodbye to the old city is as important as the way you arrive in the new one. Do not leave with bitterness. Do not leave with emotional debt. Say goodbye with gratitude. Bless the old city. Thank it for what it taught you, even what was hard. Let people go with kindness. Some will return to be part of your life in other seasons. Others will not. And that is fine. Each season has its people. Trying to carry all the relationships from the previous season is what overwhelms many chosen ones during transitions. The chosen ones do not walk with extra baggage. They walk light. They carry the essential. And about material goods, there is an ancient principle. Take what vibrates with you. There are objects in your house today that are heavy, that carry memories of old cycles, of people who have already left your life. These objects should not go with you. Donate, sell, discard. It is not attachment, it is freedom. You will enter the new city with lightness. Only what vibrates with your next phase should accompany you. There is a detail about May that needs to be mentioned. This May is marked by 3 specific energetic windows. The first window happens in the first 10 days. It is the decision window. The chosen ones who decide in this window will receive intense clarity about their destination. The second window happens between the 11th and the 20th. It is the execution window. Whoever decided in the first window executes in this one. Contracts will be signed. Moves will be made. The third window happens in the last 10 days of the month. It is the initial anchoring window. Whoever arrived in the new city starts to take root. This is the divine rhythm for this month, and whoever understands this rhythm and positions themselves in it will feel the wind of heaven at their back during the entire process. It is like when you catch a wave in the sea. If you position yourself before it forms, you are caught off guard. If you position yourself after it breaks, you drown. But if you position yourself exactly when it is rising, it takes you. May is rising now. Position yourself. There is a question you need to ask yourself tonight before going to sleep. The question is, if I don't move now, a year from now, where will I be? Look sincerely. Visualize it. Your life in the same city, in the same neighborhood, in the same job, with the same people around, with the same habits. Do you feel how it weighs? Do you feel how there is a stagnation there that has no solution as long as the scenery doesn't change? Now do the opposite. If I obey the call and in May I take the first step, a year from now where will I be? Visualize it. Feel the lightness. Feel the different air. Both visions say something important. The first is the path of inertia. The second is the path of obedience. And you have divine permission to choose. No one will force you. Heaven never forces. Heaven calls, offers, opens windows, but you are the one who decides whether to cross or not. The chosen ones distinguish themselves from the others, not because they hear the call, but because they obey. When you look back a few years from now, you will divide your life into 2 chapters, before May and after May. I know this because I have already seen it happen in other times, in other transitions. The chosen ones remember clearly the specific months in which everything changed. And for many of you who are reading this now, that month is May. Note this date. Mark it in your heart. A day will come when you will tell this story to someone, and you will say, "When I read that, it was as if a silent thunder went through my chest. I knew, and I moved." This is the mechanics of awakening. The chosen one recognizes their story being told even before living it. And when they recognize it, they act. I want you to close your eyes for a moment after this text and say out loud, "Even if you are alone, I obey, I follow, I go where you call me. May is my month. I am chosen. I am of the family of those who move in faith. I cut now any tie that binds me to the old territory. I receive the clarity about my city of purpose. I prepare myself. I protect my family. I am going." This declaration, made out loud, activates things in the spiritual realm that silently whispered would not activate. The mouth has power. and the mouth of the chosen ones has an amplified power. And to close everything you have just received, I need to reinforce that this walk is not meant to be done alone in trial and error, without practical guidance. That is why I prepared the powerful ebook for you, The Faithful Guide to Protecting Your Kin. Everything we talked about here, about relocation, about May, about constellations of chosen ones, about anchoring, about family protection, about identifying the right city, is deepened, organized, and available to you as a field manual in your hands. It is not theory. It is practical instruction for a concrete spiritual journey. The ebook shows exactly who is playing against your move, which entities work to keep you trapped in sick territories, how to recognize and cut invisible contracts, how to shield each member of your family during the transition, how to execute the anchoring in the new city in the first few days so that the soil receives you, how to access the financial provision that always accompanies obedience, and how to activate the protection mesh that surrounds the chosen ones when they position themselves correctly. The link is pinned to the top of the comments in the first pinned post. This content has already been the target of attempts to silence it. Those who do not want you to move work actively so that this knowledge does not reach you. The fact that you are reading this now is in itself a victory. Do not waste it. Do not wait for the right moment. Do not wait for additional confirmation. The right moment is now, because you did not come to this text by accident. You were guided. You were set apart. You were marked to receive this instruction at this very instant. Download the ebook now and comment below, "I am chosen," and I will download the ebook. This comment is not just a response to a video. It is a public pact. It is your mouth declaring to heaven that you heard, understood, and are ready to move. And when you do this, prepare yourself. Because from this moment on, new signs will start to arrive with a precision that will impress you. Confirmations will overlap. People will appear with specific messages. Doors will open in places where you didn't even know doors existed. Heaven honors the obedient, and you, chosen one, have been set apart for a May different from all other Mays you have ever lived. This May is your portal. Pack your bags. The relocation of cities happens in May, and I will meet you on the other side, in your new life, in your new land, in your new phase, because you had the courage to obey when many preferred to settle. May awaits you. Heaven awaits you. Your city of purpose awaits you. Go.